It is only now that I realize that my phone has only 25% battery. Meanwhile, Hypnotic Suggestion by Atticus. So there's a link in Cracking the Cryptics video on this puzzle to the channel. So I'll be able to then also share the link to this. So people have already sold it. So apparently, stare into the swirling Sudoku grid. It's an 8x8 grid. Um, countdown as I count down one and back up again. Let my voice wash over. Here's a relax your mind and enter a state of calm. Obedience. When I snap my fingers, you will see say exactly what you see. The normal 8x8 Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 8, and then a row and a 2x4 box. Look and say cages. Read the clue out loud to describe the contents of the cage. IG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 says there's 1, 2, 3 4s, 5 6s, and 7 8s in the cage. Huh. I'm what? What are we working with here? What kind of buttons do we have and anything else? Is there what is this? What is that? Is that the tiny? Okay, those are the hints. Okay. So, well, if we consider the pause menu again, it says there are 1, 2, 3 4s, 5 6s, and 7 8s in the cage. There should be more information. I'm confused. What? Let me just.
And it's a phenomenal solver. So a debut on the channel for Atticus 837, and I'm looking forward to having a go.
Looking at his video again, there is a different bit of information. Or no, it says the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't say. So but he said something else.
In a moment or two's time. A couple of things that I will mention before we get started. Do like and subscribe, please. That's one of the things. This one contains 1, 2, 3 4s, 5 6s, and 7 8s, and that's all the rules apart from Sudoku. I think it's 8x8 Sudoku, so we've got to put sort of the digits 1 to 8. Anyway, I'll do the rules properly in a moment or two, but that is apparently all that is required.
I don't. Okay, so to get started with, there are 1, 2. So 3 4s, 5 6s, and 7 8s. So to start with, can we? Oh God, can we color the? Okay, hold on. There we go, and color that. That'll make it easy, or do this, like he did, and then go back to digits. If I were to say it has 1, 2, well, where can that 2 be in this entire cage? that for some reason then there is not another 2 in the rest of the cage. Um, so the thing that bothers me, or there are 7/8. Well, 7/8 is easy. If you look at each of the cages, you'll notice that there is different distributions. There is a 4, there is a 3, 3, 3, 3. This one has 4, 4, 4, right? Oh my God, I almost went again. So there's 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. So all of this side is 4, all of this side is 3. That's an odd thing to notice. And that's interesting how that works out. Um, I haven't seen his video, so I don't know. I just happened to pick the same color he did for Spiral because it is pretty. Um, so I was like, oh, I'll just get this done. So let's see if I can. Okay, here's the other thing. There's a different clue. Hold on, look. Can you zoom in? No, you can't. But let's. Looking at these numbers. Okay, the other one is there are 8 sevens, 6 fives, and so on in the other um, set. So, and 2 ones. So the purple one has 2 ones, and the other one has 1, 2. That doesn't make any sense because total distribution of numbers is that you can, like, well, I mean, I guess it can make sense. Here's the thing. They don't speak about each other. They speak about um the individual, like one of them references half the numbers, and then one of them gives you clues about the other half of the other 4 numbers. But it doesn't tell you anything that's only half the information of each. So let's say we wanted to do penciling in, and then we say, well, it has 2 ones. Where can you have 2 ones? And then go from that or something. Or you could say 4 freeze or whatever. And so a, if this has a 3 in 4 positions, well, obviously it would be different boxes. And so I think for freeze, I've literally only looked at 1 minute and 33 seconds of his video. It was fascinating to think of this puzzle, so I was like, okay, maybe I can put my head towards this. I will push my brain a little further than my regular puzzles. Because I finally found a puzzle I can actually push my brain in. But fuck. I'm also using up time, which I don't care. I really don't care. So we're gonna just do that. So in this, the only thing is, it doesn't say the distribution of all numbers. It also tells you, well, okay, hold on. Here's the inverse information that we can also agree is that it also tells you that in the purple box, there are, for example, if there are 7/8 in the white box, that means there is 1/8 in the purple box. That isn't explained, but it is already, like, we can infer that if it's whatever is in the one box, it has to be in the one spiral, it has to be that the rest of the numbers are in the other one. That's the first thing to think about with this. So there are 8 sevens in this purple box, meaning there's 1 7 somewhere in the white box set. And I do believe having this be colored is going to help, possibly. So again, thinking about 4, well, we would have to make positions where 4 can be. So let's present the idea, what if 4 is there? Then we have to have a 4 distribution that is different. And there are how many 4s in this? There are 3. So that's not the biggest distribution there is. And thank God we can pencil all we want. I love this. Oh, I do love this. All right, so let's look at big numbers like 7 eighths and consider the 7 eighths. Well, first of all, in this entire thing, there can only be an 8 somewhere else, and that would be down here, right? Because it can't exist in any of the other spaces. And then we consider here, where if there's an 8 there, right? And then if we consider here, like it can't face, like, it has to be in every row, everything in every box. So that's how, sorry, 8, and then 8, and then 8, and then 8. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That answers the position possibilities perfectly. And I feel like there is no other. Now consider what happens if we move one of these positions. Well, if I move an 8 from here, for example, to there, then we block this entire set, and that would force us to move that elsewhere. So it would make sense that we can't do that, and therefore this has to be the distribution. So these are just that's just the answer. That has to just be the answer. And then the last 8 has to be in the purple. We know that. So where's the last 8? It would be up to the top and in the other corner here. That's where the last 8 is. It doesn't say that, but it is by Sudoku inferred. So we already have that answer. Yeah, just the first block that doesn't. So here's the problem, right? Okay, so you have to answer what if there's an 8 here instead? What could you do? Could you do anything different? And the answer is no, you couldn't. Because, for example, in this one, if you were to have, okay, if you have 8s here and there, okay, well that would allow for that, but then this spot wouldn't exist. You understand? Does that make sense? So if you were to put the 8, for example, this is the one where there's 7 eighths, yeah. So then if you were to put the 8 here, it blocks this entire row, right? And then you have to put 8s elsewhere within the system. And again, they have to work by Sudoku rules, or 8 by 8 Sudoku rules, and that would just not work. So I immediately did this distribution that makes the most sense to me. So that's our first number. That genuinely has to be the first number, and then we have 8 sevens. So literally every 8 except for 1 is in the white, and then every 7, okay, this is important, every 7 is in this purple. So you have to find a distribution which allows for every 7 to be in the purple. If we say 7 here, and we say 7 there, that blocks all of the other edge. And then we could say 7 here, and 7 there, and 7 there, and 7 here, 7 there, and 7 there. And that's the distribution that allows for all of them to be in individual places. So is there ways of doing it differently? And I struggle to find where it can be different. Again, because it seems like that doesn't make any sense why it could be any different. So, again, if you block this here, that's one thing. But if you put it here, however, well, it's slightly arbitrary, but then you still can't put a 7. You have to start with a 7 that takes up this row. It has to take up this column. That's the first spot that you have to go, and therefore the other 7 must be, and if it must be in this line, and you must have one in this row, that consistently does that. So it's actually, this has to be correct. This just has to be correct, which is silly, and I'm all for it. Okay, so we have that, and that. And then we don't have any more 7s. We've run out of 7s. That's great for me. Although this is kind of hard to read with that being there, but it's not a problem. We can always just say, let's remove that and remove the 7. We know it's there, but we'll just say it's there. Whatever, it's fine. Don't worry about it. As long as we can read it, it's fine. So then we look at the next set of big clues that shows you things. And like, again, literally there is no other way to solve that. Then there's 6 5s. So 6 5s and 5 6s. 5 6s is the next biggest number, and it's in the white. So again, white is, if you were to say 6s here and there, right? And here, well, then we have a problem because we only have 4 6s. So that obviously can't be right because this is one that blocks too many times. So we would not have it here, we'd have it here. Then we can have one that's here, and we can't have one here. So we would have it here, and that gives us 5 6s. And unfortunately, for everyone involved, you could say this is correct, or this follows the rule. However, equally valid, these 6s can be inverted. So like the 8 is definitive, but the 6s are a little bit more, they could be anywhere, or something, because there's more ways that you can distribute them than, like, you could, okay, hold on. Yeah, you could change the positions of these 3 6s to be in other positions. So let's go a little bit slower about other numbers to put them in. I think the 7 is correct. 7 has to be correct because it's 8 7s. We should have really started with 8 7s. But, I mean, There is no other way. That doesn't change anything about anything. So we'll say the sixes can be here, 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 and there. A six can't be here because of the outside, but they could be here or here is the thing. And then we don't have an idea. And also, the problem is that that leaves us with, if there are five sixes, then there are three sixes obviously outside, and in order for that to be true, you have to have a six either here or there, either here or I guess there, here, there, and then we have to consider where those sixes can be. What did I just do? Oh, yeah, if I have to consider binaries, I have to consider that as well. Wait, what did I, where, all right, these are the 3-6 scenario. So here's the thing. Yeah, can we prove that there is only so many sixes? Once you get here, then it's like, could you go down? I guess you could go down. Um, like the white sixes and where they can't interfere with each other. So the five white sixes, unfortunately, there are more than five possible scenarios, but that doesn't mean for. Also, you could have a six here that would give us another potential, and then the invert is on. So we're not getting anywhere. It's different. It's a different beast altogether. This, where I don't quite know. God. Yeah, I don't quite understand. So in situ, if you think of two ones, um, that means there are six ones in this one. So we have to think of that. Let's consider the ones that could be. So if we think of it as here, that blocks all the other places, and then you think of the next one has to be maybe here, and then maybe here. There are six of them. So, oh, but then, okay, here's the thing, right? If you put a one here and then you put a one like here, imagine it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you've done something wrong where it can't be here, it has to be here, and well, it has to be there in order to put it in the column, but in order to not in order to avoid its others, then it has to be there also. And this is one scenario in which it becomes correct that there are six ones in this one, which I like the inversions and using the large numbers of things, which makes it seem a little bit more possible. But again, these are alternates. You can just switch them around and it doesn't change anything. These ones are also alternate. They could just be changed around and that doesn't change anything. So it's equal to say that they could be here or there. They could be here or there, and they could be here. But they can't be here is the thing, right? So that's kind of polarizing. So these are the ones that if we were to place them solidly, um, in order to be in a row and in a row and in the cage, it has to be there. and therefore you have to pick that. So I would assume this has to be a 1. Like, if you put it here, it blocks so many others. If you put it here, it blocks only one position. And in that case, if you wanted to put 1 into this position, here works, but you see that we have this and that, but we don't have another for, say, this one. So that's a thing. Um, as much as they might be alternate, they're not alternate, are they? Or are they? I don't know. That's the problem. And I end up with this kind of thing going on. My brain literally cannot deal with this. It doesn't work the same as most puzzles. So we have 6 5s. 6 5s and 2 5s in the other. Doesn't give me a lot of information. And when I think of... Okay, hold on. Let's just... The problem is, when I think of possible scenarios, it's most likely that it is this is the one. And then in order to take if I were to take the position here, right? That's the next one, then it allows it to be in the cage, and the thing is, it doesn't block anything else, right? And then if I choose to be here, then I can't have one. Oh, there. The other one could be here also. So even though they say that there are only so many potentials, there are clearly so many other places where it could be that just muddles it up. Versus in with the sevens, I think that there was no option. With everything else, with the information given, there are too many options. I'm gonna pause, eat cereal. Huh. And I'm trying to figure this out. Um, so if I consider trying to put a 1, oh, I didn't even think of putting a 1 in that column, which it has to do, but also there has to be ones that are in the purple. For a 1 to be in the purple, it has to be, for example, here. How many 1s are in the purple? Well, there are 2 1s in the purple. So therefore you have to think, well, where's the only place where there can be another 1 in the purple? That doesn't correspond with any other ones that could be anywhere else. And if I did this right, that would be there. But that corresponds with the first one that we assumed would be in the other space. So therefore that shouldn't be right. Although down here, this makes sense. So the other one position could be there. And another one position could be that it's here, actually. So then like truly, in order to avoid all other spaces that could be, it would have to be in the place that I've already selected is a 1. And then after that, it would be in the corner. That's the other two positions where it doesn't interfere with literally any other thing. Because imagine if you go here, you're interfering with all those positions, and then how many does that actually give you if you tally it out? And can it actually also give you 6 1s in the white uh, cage? So um, if you put a 1 here, for example, and these are gone, then you have this one, 2, um, let's say 3, 4, 5, right? Huh. You- Okay, hold on. If there would be a 1 here, that makes sense. Like if you put the 1 here, it blocks this set. Then you would have, I guess, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 4, 5, and there are 6 1s. So I'm finding it hard to do that because if I put the 1 here and it blocks this positions, the remaining pieces only give us 5. Is that right? 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the white. So that means it can't be blocking one of those. And if it blocks here, it blocks too many of the other ones. I think. So I think in the corners actually makes the most sense. So I'm going to probably put those in there and call it a minute and then move on. That's interesting. That's interesting. So literally there cannot be any other 1s in any of the other purple positions. That's very useful. And then if I were to really consider it, in order to have another 1 in anywhere, well, it has to be here because it can't be anywhere else in the purple and it can't be anywhere else in the white in order to be in that row. So it has to be there. Then if I were to consider other ones, it would have to be opposite of the 8 here, which I didn't tally, but it would have to be there because then it can't be anywhere else in the thing without also being in a purple, and it can't be in a purple, so it has to be there. So, oh, the opposite 8 option is very interesting. So then again, we've already blocked the other position, and therefore it leaves us here. We've already blocked the other position, so it leaves us here. And we've already blah, 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 blocked the other two positions, so that leaves us here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So that's the 6 1s that are in the... Yeah, because the other one says it has 2 1s. The remainder is 6 1s. That must be correct. Crazy. So then all the other ones must be false because pretend that we did put a 1 here while we couldn't put a 1 in on the other side thing. It's about the fact that the 8s block the 1s in the position of the other thing. So we're going to call this solved for the 1s and not consider it further. That must be correct, actually. That's crazy. All right, interesting, cool, good. And the more we have locked up, the more we understand. Um, so similarly, if we want to put 6s somewhere, oh, this is also not a 1. Yeah, also not a 1. Yeah, yeah, that makes the most sense. Like, you couldn't put in the like you couldn't put the 1 anywhere else in this row without also blocking the other positions that are needed to do it, and so on and so forth. So this is correct. Oh, this is fun. This is um literally breaking my brain, and no, I have not seen the video. So that's neat. And I'm wondering if he's going to take the same path. I think he's not going to. I'm gonna literally go from here to watching his video and see if he took the paths. So, let's write down the path we are taking so far. We're going to say, um, I started with 8, 7, and 1, and we will continue that comment later to our eventual conclusion of this puzzle. So what's the next one? Um, how many 3s are in the puzzle? And it seems that there are, well, obviously there are 4 3s. Let's reconsider 6s, because I know there are only, how many? Blah. In the white, 5 6s. Okay, let's redo this. So in order to have one in here, if I put it here, for example, that blocks 2 positions. But equally, those positions could be taken elsewhere. Where could those positions be? So many 6s, they have to be at least 5 6s, which also means, again, there are 3 positions. So if we have let's say we only pencil in the positions we think they could be instead of where they genuinely could be. And if we put them, say, here, that blocks this position, so we can't write it out. Can't write this down. That doesn't work, I feel. And if we say this side, well, we've already have a 6 in that column, so we can't put it elsewhere and such with this stuff. Let's just think of, we need to have 5 6s. We only have 4 so far, so we have to redistribute. So instead here, that makes it easy. And then then that means we can have one here. And that gives us, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, can we alternate this? The answer is there are very few places in here, so we would have to alternate this. If we did that, can I have a number that is of a different color? I don't know. I don't care. But let's say we had it here. We would have then to put the 6 here, and here, if we put a 6 here and a 6 here, then we only have, we've blocked our 5th position. is what I'm thinking. This looks like correct, so I'm not going to overthink that. Like, yeah, I can't put a 6 in the column, or let's put it this way. If I were to put a 6 here, right, or if I were to try to put a 6 here, that gives us that position. There's no other position that we can have besides this one where we can have a 6. So we would have, if we put one here, that precludes 2 lines, and that just removes a position possible. We still end up with 1, 2, 3. Like, you can't have them beside each other and everything else. That'd be 2 in the same column stuff. So this frees up this column, which allows that and doesn't block this or that. And this, so it would start with this one, which is the most, because if we did here, I'm going to say this is right. I'm very concerned. And then we have things like it cannot be here now, and it cannot be here now. So therefore there are 3 6s in the purple. So if we have one here, that blocks 2 of the possible 3, and then we are left with the rest of the 3, so I would say those are correct. And these are the 6s. So then we place a 6 in the comments as we just solved the 6s. Or 6 was the next number we tackled. Now let's try 5. If it ends up being right, which it seems to be the only option, it's very fun. Very interesting. How many 5s are there? Well, in the purple there are 4. Wait, hold on. There are 4 3s. What's the information about 5s? There are 5 6s. There are 6 5s in the purple. Oh, that makes sense. 6 5s in the purple means there are 2 in the white. Okay, so if you put one here, for example, or there, you could still put one here and there, but you could still also put one here, for example. So by elimination doesn't give us enough. So instead we gotta go by inclusion and go with the purple inform, which there are 6 5s in purple. Where can they be that they don't block each other? And to start with, we have the 7, where it can't be anywhere else in the 7, in the purple, besides that spot, which it could be in the white spot in that scenario, but start writing in there. And then we go to the next one, and we say, well, one that doesn't block anything else is here and there. And then following, we have it here, I guess. And then there. There are 6 5s in the purple. Did we actually get that immediately? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would seem not, so that for the, oh, there. There is that. Okay, and then, so now you can see how there are how many places can you put a 5 in the white, and there has to be only 2 places for this to be valid, and there's here and there, so yeah, there's a lot of white spaces that are blocked, so it would seem like this is the correct distribution for 5s, except for the problem where you have a 5. Well, obviously you can't put two 5s in the same block, and we've done that twice now, so we have to redistribute. We have no 5s in this block, so we would like to change that around. And how to do that best? Good question. It also blocks this section. So we could put the 5 from down here in this block instead. That blocks the other side. But again, we can't have numbers that I didn't even properly check for it being a thing within the boxes quite, but we have successfully achieved that by following the other rules. So that's great in the other cases. For 5, it's different. So obviously, um, in order for there to be, how many, again? There are 6 5s in the purple. And so I have to envision this isn't right. So what happens, what is happening? Let's forget about the whites for now, maybe, question mark. 6 5s. Well, no, we can't forget the white parts, because they have to exist. So in order to put a 5 in this block somewhere, we have to do something like that. So it would have to be not here, and it could be here, which gives us a white 5 here. And then the other option, the other place that needs a 5 is here. Is that square doesn't have a 5, and it needs to be in a white space. And we have 2 in the white space, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all taking up their own column, row, box. This feels correct. So then 5 would be done. Did I do that right? 5, 6, 6 5s, which means 2 in the white. We've accomplished that. The reason why I did this distribution instead of like putting it elsewhere is because the outside is so much easier to place. The inside is where it gets difficult fast. Like if we alternate, the problem is, again, if we alternate these 5s, that also is correct. So we have that is correct and doesn't bother the other ones. So I'm not solid on this. Yeah, in the vertical and whatever else, like you can alternate these two, And but you cannot alternate these outside ones because there's sevens in the way. We've already placed those there. So, and then the 5 has to be somewhere in this column. It also has to be somewhere in the white. And I have to assume that it has to be there instead of here. And then we just have to pick one of the two spaces for the other 5. So that's the next thing about it all. But I would say this has to be correct. But we don't have. Hold on. Let's just think about this again. What is in this column? Nothing. That's a problem. Also, we put a 5 up here where there's one down here, and that doesn't work. So therefore, the 5 can't be up here and has to be in this column instead, and that makes it correct. Oh. And that makes a distribution that works. But we still have the weird thing where there's these two that are alternating. But a lot of the 5s are put in. I'm gonna say because like okay, hold on, stop. If you alternate the corners, the problem with that is you would end up with multiple in a box. You can't do that. So you have to have scenarios like, for example, if you put it here, that stops it from being here. So therefore, you would have to, that would force it to be here, which means not here, which means here, right? And if you were to put it here and there, then you had to have to put it here and here. So it's like there is this weird, there is a binary there, but I don't see a binary in the other ones. I don't think. There is this, but this can't be because there isn't another place to put these ones. So if we say this is solid, then if this is solid, and there's nowhere else to put it in the white in that square, and I'm pretty sure about that, then you can't alternate the white on this side also. Like, it would be here, and this is already taken, so can't. So then the other options are this, which forces that, and this and that, and the other way around, and we won't know until later. This is our first indecision, where we haven't fully solved, but our next number we went to was 5. Interesting distribution pattern, but we're not solved 5, which is fine. That happens. We still have to do some Sudoku yet. We're just discovering. Let's move on to, I guess, the next biggest distributed number. Oh, I didn't do 2. 2 is a massive distributed number. It says there is 1, 2, and that means there are 7 ones in the purple. Oh God, that's harder. I should have solved for that first. Oh God. I am losing my mind. Why would I not solve by biggest distribution first? Oh, okay, so if there's 1, 2 in here, anywhere in the white, um, that makes sense because I guess, but then there has to be that many in the purple, and therefore you have to have a 2 here. You have to have a 2 there. You would then have to have a 2 here, right? And then because of the other positions that you've taken a 2, like you could have a 2 here and there, but then you can't have a 2 here, so that sucks. And then, oh, I think I've screwed myself here. Um, and we were on such a nice pattern. But yeah, I need to go biggest distribution first, of course. Um, 2, 1, 2, 1, just 1. Well, that could be here, right? Or no? Where can you put a 1, a 2? Well, it would go here, right? Okay, let's just say it's there. Because if it's here, it blocks the other position. That doesn't work. If it's here, it does blocks, blocks, blocks. We don't want to block any of the other purples as much as we can, and I think this is the best way we can distribute them so far. But what do we have? We're missing something. 7 2s. Oh God. So we have to have a 2 in this row. So if we say this one, we can't say this one anymore. And then if we want to say it in this row, we can't say in this row. So instead of saying here, we have to say here because it's already blocked there. And then we have to say maybe here because the 7 and the other 2 and other purple spots are blocked. So there, and then 2 there, and then 2 there. But that doesn't give us. Oh no, 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 no. That doesn't give us the right number of 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But there has to be 7 2s in the purple. Where can the other 2 go? Oh, that's nasty. Good question, good question. Um, 7 2s, I didn't think of that. Why did I? Well, how many 7s are there in the thing? 8, 7, all the 7s. Wait, all of the 7s? Okay. Well, hold on. It's nutty because everything seems to be working so well until I realize there must be um, 7 2s, and now I'm kerfuffled. I'm all over the place. Well, hold on. Am I? Let's think about this. If I wanted to put a 2 here, for example, I couldn't put a 2 here. I'd have to put it somewhere else. Like, 8 2s is extremely tight in this purple thing because it has to be in just everywhere as much as it can be. And so I would say it has to be there. which means not here, not here, not here. But then where can I put a 2 in this block? We already have a 2 in this block. It's over here. Never mind. Which means we can't put a 2 in this purple and this thing. So that doesn't work. So instead we put a 2 here instead of here. But then that means it can't be here. And it can't be in, well, we already have it in the vertical up top. So that kind of makes sense. But then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 7 in the purple. Oh, I'm struggling. Well, hold on. A 2 can't be... Well, if a 2 is here, right? Why do I have 5s placed? Well, I felt like I couldn't put 5s anywhere else. I'm starting to hope that there is a case for something else because that means I have options for 2s. Maybe I shouldn't go for 5s. I don't like that, but whatever. We will attempt things because if, like, you think about if there was a 2 here, that'd be sort of nice because it covers the vertical, and but it also blocks the 2 from being in this box. There has to be 8 2s. Oh, I'm screwed. I am so screwed. Oh, sorry, 7 2s. Which means every box that has a purple in it, also, like every box, it has to be in the purple except for one, right? And that is scary. It's genuinely scary. So what is it? Um, what's the real issue here? What do we have? So we have a 2, we can't, we have a 2 in this box. We have 2 in this box, 2 in this box, 2 in that box, 2 in this box. Can we put a 2 in this box? No, so we would have to put it in, say here, and that works. Hold on. 2 in this box, and not a 2 in that box. There's only 1 2 in the white, however. Oh, that's... I'm still... Wait. So I have to redistribute. I have to rethink. I'm off by something. What was the result with 6? 6 was... There was... Wait, I went for... There are 5 6s? That's not... I mean, it would make sense that there could be... But 2 is very much more constraining. Let's revert these, perhaps. I'm second guessing myself a lot. I probably shouldn't, but at least we still have the squiggles. So we can rethink that. Oh, I'm not happy. Not happy. Okay, what do we got? Um, well, let's see. A 2 that doesn't block other places is like, yeah, here, yeah, here, yeah, there, yeah, there. Or the other way around. Does that work? Oh, hold on, then we can't put one in this box, which I feel like we have to do. Why do we have to do it? Am I wrong? Am I bad at counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not bad at counting. Okay, so we have to think elsewhere for the twos. Oh, why didn't I think of this first? If we put 2 here, then the 6 wouldn't. Um, I can't think of 6. Oh God, I have to solve all of it like this. I don't like it. It's taking too long. Um, wait, if I put 2 here, it blocks the other 2. Oh, this feels that. Wait, why would I not just put it here? Well, because of the other places and other 2's for the vertical. No, but no, you would put it here because, and not here because of here, and that puts a 2 in a box that doesn't block a thing? And then this box has to have, okay, of all the, how far back do I have to go? Because I don't want to go back to sevens. I don't think sevens are wrong is the problem. So, in other words, I'm almost guaranteeing that sevens are correct because there are 8 sevens. They are all, like, they're the biggest distributed number. We can't start anywhere else. Um, but then seven twos. I didn't think of that. And 7 eights. Eights also must be correct by the same reason. Um, but then the problem, so, okay, if there has to be a 2 in this box, it can be anywhere in that box. It can't be in this box at all. So that means that it has to be here or there, I guess. Oh God, I'm gonna have to figure this out. Yeah. And then in order to take up the, oh God, 7 spaces. Yeah, that's the only place where there is a column that doesn't have a purple position. And we have to then put purple positions literally everywhere. Every single vertical. Every row has to have a 2. This is not, that's not possible. What? Well, hold on. Forget the 5s for a second. In order to have a 2 in this column, right, or this row, it has to be here because the 7 is already placed, and I'm confident in the 7s that I resulted. So, if that's correct, and we have this one for the bottom row, this one for this row, this one for that row. We don't have one for this row. What row? Um, that's not good. I don't know how to resolve that. Except for to say that if I put one here, then this one can be in that row. It's the only one it can. Okay, hold on. Yeah. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And then forget about this too. Right? Because that's hand. Is that it? Oh, that might be it. Wait, so not here. Okay. Yeah, no, because there has to be one up here. That must be it. And then, like, if it was down here, it would take up other places that a 2 must be, and so it can't do that. And similarly, this one only has the remaining space is there. Um, Wait, wouldn't that mean that the remaining when the remaining space is here for the yeah, no, that is right. And then wait, wouldn't the remaining space then be what about this? Oh, I have this. Okay, yeah, no. One, two, three. Not not you. I don't care about you. Um, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. That's got to be correct. I'll eat my hat because there's hardly any other positions I think. Like if I switch this one with here, right, to try to put a different place in this row. Oh God. But I like my hat. Then okay, if I did that, what? Oh God. Um, Considering where else it can be in this row and it has to be in this thing to avoid the other thing, it has to be there. And then the same rule applies with this one. Well, not quite yet. This one has already been blocked by here and there and there and everything around, so it has to be here. This one, this one has been blocked by the other one position that it could have been, which leaves this. So that means I resolved 2 before 5. So we're going to revert that into a 2. Oh, and we still haven't resolved 6, so I instead resolved 2. So we're going to say that, and that's our thing. Does that change the 6s? Doesn't seem to. What's the rule of 6s? There are 5 6s in the white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's gotta be it, right? What else is there? Because you can't alternate these 6s. You can't alternate those 6s. Okay, what else do we have? It feels like we're close. Yeah, and then these 6s are the 3 purple 6s. That still feels right, which then that forces 5 to be here, which forces 5 to be here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and was that a 5 or a 2? Well, I can't, this is not a 2. Um, 2 in that row, wait, resolve the 2 first, you idiot. Oh God. Put the 5. Um, yeah, you're right. No, it gotta resolve the 2. That's a 2. Um, Meaning, do I have to rethink my fives? And I guess I must? Question mark. So this is not a 2, we're just gonna say forget about that. Like, if I change this, oh god, wait, how does, what do I want to look at the rule about threes? What's the rule on threes? There are 4 threes in the purple, and therefore there are 4 threes in the white, which, that's cute, and I don't know how to do that, and also I don't know if I care yet. Where, how to 5, how to 5, how to 5, how to 5. Um, how to 5. Rule on 5 is 6 fives. So 1, screw me over, why don't you? 2, forget about this one. 3, forget about this one. 4, 5, 6. No. No. Because of that's already taken, so it would be, where is it? Wait, genuinely, where is it? Oh god. Alright, so we know it has to be in this row, so this has to be a 5 in order to stay in the purple. Actually, there is no other place. It has to be in the purple in the 5 with the 6 or the 5 and the way it is. So there's that. And then in order to be in the next row in the purple, it has to be there. And in order to be in the other row in the purple, it could be here or there, but it can't be also here. So it has to be here and here. And then process of elimination, it can be this, and that one's already taken, so it has to be this. That can't be, and therefore, in order to be in that, wait, again, there are 6 fives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the 6th 5? So it can't be right. Right? Oh god. Oh, it's not. I'm not in it. I'm not in this right. This isn't. Oh god, I don't want to think too far in this. I thought of the 6s. How many 6s? 5 6s. So that's the smaller distribution. Why wouldn't I think of the 5s first before the 6s? Well, it's working so beautifully so far. Like, there's only 3 and 4 to consider, and after this. So then, where's the other 5? Is it here? Because it can't be, okay, wait. No, good question. Where can you even put a 5 in this row, or here, if you put it there, because it doesn't work? So, I have to rethink. Oh, I don't like that. Having to think. Um, wait, 5 here. Right. How do we get a 5 in... Look at the rule again. Oh, God. 6 fives. Okay, so there are 2 fives in the white. Wait. Oh, yeah, that is what that means. Um, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. If I did that, that's gotta be wrong. Because I can't put a 6th 5 in. So then what can I change to make it so that I can? And forget about everything else. Well, let's say I wanted to put one in here instead. That would preclude this one. We could put it here. Forget about the white 5 for a moment. And then say, well, we need a white 5 somewhere. So it would have to be here instead of here. And then here to take the last white position. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a distribution that works. Is there a way of alternating it? Not that I can see. So we're just gonna put it in and hope that it's right. But it looks so good. Shut up. 5. That was so noisy for a second. Okay, so now we go to 4 and 3. They're evenly distributed throughout, so we just have to... Oh, okay. Hold on. So if 4, 3... Oh, that's weird. They're both in the same... So this one has... In order to 4, 3, right? This can't be... This is impossible. Oh, God. What? No! Hold on. We got a problem because now the 4-3 is a problem. Oh no. Because imagine if you have. Wait. Yeah, never mind. No, sorry. Um, everything's fine. It's just I was thinking about stuff and whatever. Okay, what do we have? 4-3 and oh, the other distribution is, of course, there are 3 4s. So where in the white, I think the 3 4s, the that should be the most telling. Huh. Cause imagine if you have a 4 here, a 4 here, and a 4 there. But you can also have a 4 here. You can't have a 4 there. That's 4 4s. But it says deliberately there are 3 4s. So therefore, that's not correct. So the other answer is, of course, there has to be 5 4s in the purple. And so let's forget about this and think of the 5 4s that are in the purple. So if we put it here, that that's blocked the purple from the other side. Let's say we put it here, then we can put it there. And what the hell? Sorry. 4, you dingus. Um, and then if we have to put it here, we can put it there, and we can put it here. So those are the 5 4s in the purple. Yeah. And there are 4 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything is done. We got it. Holy crap. 4! And we only have to put in the rest of them by Sudoku of the block itself. So this one has need a 4, so this one needs a 3, this one needs a 3, this one needs a 3. Holy crap! Ah! Now cluck like a chicken. Um, and I snap my fingers, you wake up and forget everything. No shit. Oh my god, that is fun. Oh. Like, I mean, I like it because okay, save the replay. How do I do that? Ooh, number of action. Okay, interesting. It's not a lot of the number of actions in replay. Save file. Yeah. Okay. That was that was that was incredible. Um, yeah, simply by the descriptions of the things in the number distribution is it has to be this way, and there isn't an option that's spiraling. I mean, okay. Question is, how many interactions did cracking the cryptic have? Maybe he had more virtual thoughts than actual button presses, so he might have other things and also a much better time. I'm curious to find out, and I will pause, watch, and then give you results. Or I should just skip forward.
Eight-three-seven. It's meant to be extremely approachable, and it's really clever. There's like a cage here. Can I actually might be oh.
I'm gonna just watch it. I already know if his entire video, uncut, is 27 minutes, he did it so much faster than I did. Oh, but I still feel good that I did it. Just at all. Whatever.